friends! In our earlier sessions, we talked about the seedless and non-flowering plants like the algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes. But what about those plants that bear seeds? We know that these plants which bear seeds contribute to the majority number of plants in our planet. And we definitely need to know about these plants that have seeds in them. But guys, before we talk about plant bearing seeds, let's have a quick recap of what are seeds. I'm sure you know that what are seeds. So I'll just take the topic briefly. So friends, we know that seeds are basically reproductive structures which are capable of forming new plant. So these are reproductive structures formed by fusion of male and female gametes, and these reproductive structures, which are seeds, have life inside them in the form of embryo. And the seeds have food inside them for the growth of embryo, which later under favorable condition germinates to produce a whole new plant. And those plants which have seeds inside them are called spermatophytes. Yes, the plant-bearing seeds are called spermatophytes, or as I said previously, the phanerogams. Now guys, the phanerogams have a natural ability to produce seed as a mode of reproduction by fertilization of male and female gametes. So this feature distinguishes them from the earlier lower plants. So the seeded plants are advanced than the earlier lower plants. But guys, we should know some features of these spermatophytes which make them advanced. So the first feature is that obviously they produce seed. But do you know that these seeds are produced inside special structures? What are those special structures? Well, I think you have an idea. The special structures are the flowers and the cones. Yes friends, in spermatophytes, the seeds are present either in the flowers or on the cones. Now guys, all these plants that you see around here are spermatophytes. But can you differentiate between all these spermatophytes? Yes guys, there are differences in between all these spermatophytes. And friends, these spermatophytes have been classified into two major groups, which are the gymnosperms and the angiosperms. Now what are the differences? Or if I should say, what is the major difference? So friends, the gymnosperms are those seed-bearing plants in which the seed is not enclosed. Yes, the seed is not enclosed properly inside fruit or flower. So, gymnosperms are spermatophytes which have unenclosed seeds, whereas angiosperms are those spermatophytes which have enclosed seeds. So, the seeds are present properly inside fruit or flower. Now guys, this was about the spermatophytes. But now you must be thinking that what are we going to discuss in this session? So guys, we will start our discussion of spermatophytes from this session by talking about the gymnosperms first. So let us in this session explore the world of gymnosperms. Guys, gymnosperms are the first and most ancient seeded plants. Now, whenever I say the word gymnosperms, the first plant that strikes your mind is the beautiful pine tree found in mountains. But guys, this graceful pine tree is just one of the gymnosperms. There are many gymnosperms which have many interesting features. So let us find out that what are these interesting features of gymnosperms. Now friends, the first and the most important distinguishing feature of any gymnosperm is that the gymnosperms are seeded plants without flowers and fruits. Yes, there are no flowers, there are no fruits. But here you must be thinking that you have seen seeds coming out of fruit or flower, right? Then, where are the seeds in these gymnosperms? Well guys, in gymnosperms, the seeds are found on the surface of these beautiful cones. Yes guys, the seeds remain exposed on the surface of the cones and they are not enclosed inside the parent tissue. So, since the seeds are exposed on the surface of cones, the seeds of gymnosperms are called naked seeds. And guys, do you know that the term gymnosperm literally means naked seeds? So next time you pick up a pine cone, just look out for the loose seeds inside it. And friends, in nature, these seeds are dispersed away by wind or water and they are capable of forming new gymnosperm plant. Gymnosperms include shrubs, medium-sized trees and tall trees. And these trees have bark which is woody. Yes guys, the bark of gymnosperms is usually woody and this woody bark is capable of secreting resins. Now do you know that there is a giant redwood tree, sequoia, and sequoia tree is considered as the tallest tree species. Friends, the gymnosperms are usually found in colder regions of the world, which includes the mountains. Now guys, the gymnosperm body that you see has many interesting structural features too. So let's find out about these structural features. Friends, the visible portion of a gymnosperm plant body that we see is diploid sporophytic. So the main plant body is diploid sporophyte and is differentiated into roots, stem and leaves. Now guys, the gymnosperms are usually found in sandy areas like beaches and sand dunes and xerophytic areas or dry areas like snowy region. So guys, in order to survive the stress that they have to go through in such situations, they must have a strong root system. So talking about the root system in gymnosperms, then guys, gymnosperms have tap roots in them. Now tap roots are those roots which have a central root and branches emerging out from the central root. So this type of root system makes the tap root system a stronger root system. And that is why in case of situations when extreme wind is blowing, the gymnosperms are able to survive it because of the presence of this tap root system. Now guys, these tap roots provide the much needed support and stability to a gymnosperm plant so that it can also survive in extreme xerophytic conditions. Also friends, roots in some genera of gymnosperms like in Pinus have fungal associations in them in the form of mycorrhiza. So in Pinus, the roots have mycorrhizal association in them. And in case of Cycas, specialized type of roots are present which are called coralloid roots. Now guys, coralloid roots are irregular, dichotomously branched, negatively geotropic coral-like roots. Now negatively geotropic means that they grow against the gravity. That is not under the soil but over the soil. And also friends, these coralloid roots present in Cycas have nitrogen-fixing cyanobacteria inside them. Talking about stems in gymnosperms, then guys, the stems can be unbranched like in Cycas, but they can be branched too like in Pinus and Cedrus. If the stems are branched, then they have two types of branches, which are the dwarf shoots and the long shoots. Now coming to the leaves in gymnosperms. Now guys, the leaves can be simple as well as they can be pinnately compound like the pteridophytes. Also friends, the leaves in gymnosperms are also dimorphic, which mean that there are two types of leaves, large foliage leaves and small scale leaves. In conifers like pines, small needle-like leaves are present. These needle-like leaves reduce the surface area of leaves and thus prevent transpiration. Also friends, these needle-like leaves have thick cuticle on them and they have sunken stomata. as a result of which further water loss is prevented from the surface of leaves. So guys, we can say that the leaves in gymnosperms are evergreen and they are well adapted to withstand extremes of temperature, humidity as well as wind. So looking at these features of gymnosperms like the woody bark, needle-like leaves, thick cuticle and sunken stomata, we can say that gymnosperms have most of the traits which are xerophytic. And these xerophytic traits are basically adaptations by them to combat extremes of temperatures that they experience in colder regions. Friends, the gymnosperms are vascular plants, which mean that they have well-developed xylem and phloem for the transport of water and food throughout the plant body. Now friends, there are differences in the structure of xylem and phloem from the angiosperms, which we will take up when we talk about anatomy of these plants. Guys, do you know that because of the well-developed vascular system that can transport water to extremes of height in gymnosperms, this has enabled land colonization by these gymnosperms. There are thousands of species of gymnosperms. And friends, some of the most recognizable examples of gymnosperms are the pines, spruces, firs and ginkgos. Now guys, all the living gymnosperms have been majorly divided into 4 groups, which are Cycadopsida, Ginkgopsida, Coniferopsida and Nitopsida. Cycadopsida are commonly called cycads. An example is cycas. Ginkgopsida includes single living plant species, which is the ginkgo biloba tree. And Coniferopsida are commonly called conifers or woody cone-bearing gymnosperms. And examples are pines and firs. And lastly, Nitopsida are shrubby gymnosperms. Examples are Nitum and Ephedra. So friends, now I'm sure that next time when you see a pine tree or a beautiful furry Christmas tree, you can identify them as gymnosperms by observing their stems, their leaves and their roots. But guys, do you know that reproduction in these gymnosperms is also very peculiar? And how does this process of reproduction occur in gymnosperms? We will find out in our upcoming session. And right now, let us quickly summarize our learning of this session. Seed-bearing plants are known as spermatophytes or phanerogams, which have natural ability to produce seeds. The seed-bearing plants are of 2 types: gymnosperms, which are plants with unenclosed seeds, and angiosperms, which are plants with enclosed seeds. Gymnosperms are the first and most ancient seeded plants with naked seeds. The seeds in gymnosperms are held in specialized reproductive structures called cones. A gymnosperm, the giant redwood tree sequoia, is one of the tallest tree species. Roots in gymnosperms are taproots. Roots in some gymnosperms like Pinus have mycorrhizal association, while in some gymnosperms like Cycas, coralloid roots are present. Stems in gymnosperms are unbranched like in Cycas, and they can be branched like in Pinus and Cedrus. Leaves in gymnosperms are dimorphic, that is, they are of 2 types: big size foliage leaves and small size needle-like scale leaves. Gymnosperms are vascular plants having xylem and phloem. The living gymnosperms are divided into 4 groups: Cycadopsida, Ginkgopsida, Coniferopsida and Nitopsida.